Thank you. The last person, so that we can.
Okay, thank you, Gloria. So my my point is to support on how neocolonialism still exists, even looking at the countries in Africa that are termed as independent countries, and looking at the systemic policies that were structured in such a way to restrict these countries. Even when they want to make some advancements, they're still, kind of cocooned in the structure of these policies. So mine is to my take is on communication and how we can leverage on it to, take this message to these countries out there and make them amplify their voices and work on their policies on their own and not keep relying on these structured policies that are restrict them. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Marty. And you've actually directed us to the next question that I wanted to ask. And this is for the Azerbaijan journalists, if they can hear me. So whoever will be able to respond, you're free to do so. Just two of them. I'd like to ask on the legal and political reforms that are happening. So do we still have progressive legal and political reforms, or is the process of decolonizing even the political structures that have been instituted still becoming a challenge? And what are the challenges that the media personnel?
Response more.
Okay, thank you. My question is, right now we are talking about decolonization and the role of communication.
Well, what I could say, I could actually bring the example of the recent legislative change that were about to happen in Decolonization and were not happening because of the resistance of the people. There is a certain there is a certain challenge that we as media personnel, I mean, all in the world face right now is the specific moments in the legislative procedures that actually, yeah, for sure. Let me just put on my iPhone. Can you hear me? So there's some moment that kind of are in the situation with the legislative procedures, and we have to file a lot of documents, and we have to advocate for some things and some legislative laws that may not be really formal or really famous for the people, and you have to explain a lot of times. So I believe journalists, not only in the country but all over in the world, face these kind of challenges. But if we speak about Azerbaijan specifically, we say that even our country legislative procedures and implementing democratic laws, implementing modern laws are still in priority of the state. So this process goes pretty smooth, but unfortunately I cannot tell this about other countries, since there are, for example, countries like some territories like New Caledonia, where there is a high pressure from outside, and there is not enough influence of local leaders to actually implement some kind of laws. So
that we inform our neighboring countries and the international community to recall about our existence, and when it comes to the reforms on the nickel resources, for example, we are the first nickel producers in the world, but you have to know that in more than 100 years France has exploited our nickel resources, and there is no any nickel resource staying in New Caledonia, and on the February of 2024, we had the forums on the tax. We had tax reforms about the production, nickel production, and about tax extradition of nickel. And our independence government tries to make sure that the coming generations will be able to leverage from these resources, and we try to stimulate the activities within the communication with an aim that the whole world come together to fight against the same difficulties, We need to have the solidarity about when it comes about the human, social, economic possibilities, cultural possibilities. And I would like to recall to the nickel that the Nouvelle Caledon recognized by France since 24 September 1853, and only in 1953 that we had the Kanak parliament members, and it was very difficult for us, and people were killed, kidnapped, families were displaced, and we had the indigent regime, a regime that was close to the apartheid, and we didn't have right to go out at that time. We used to face different negative situations, but today, as all people in the world, we have this chance after the Second World War. We were able to have the first Kanak members in 1953, and we can say that we are one of the youngest democracies in the world, and our capacities has different gaps, and the Nouvelle Caledonia and other New Caledonia and others needs to be to work together, and we have been impacted negatively as people. The issue of colonialism is very crucial even today, and we will work on our upcoming activities to create more opportunities, and the communication is one of the powerful means, and it helps us to learn how to communicate, to leverage from different type of communication is very crucial, and we face different atrocities, but today we have 32 languages and dialects, and which is part of our values, our legacy, and this is the reason why I say that we have very particular links with the nature, and we had activities on the climate, and we need to have the common reflection about the industrial activities. We need to work more with the indigenous population. We need, and we can say that French colonial practices had very negative impacts on our psychology, and it will take a number of years to heal from that, and we need to act to spaces, Tonga, French Polynesia, for example, Abbass, and
climate justice, how it's going to, the path that it's going to take. So I'll add this way. Some of these things requires political goodwill, as my colleague here mentioned about having these initiatives. We have to give credit to HD, what has happened, what has worked well, and how we can be able to advance that. Then I also think when we look into the environmental space and climate action, climate justice space, we normally say they are local problems, but they're also global problems, and the solutions are from within. But you also have to think globally, because every part of the country, or rather every part of the world, there is a contribution they make. Just to share a little bit about, we normally say that Africa, mostly because the Africans here, but what happens is that when it comes to climate change and issues of how the policies do work, you find that most of the times, we've had several COPs, and I think also there is one coming very soon in Baku, and there are a lot of commitments that are normally made, multilateral agreements that have been made, but what happens is there that follow-up, is there that implementation that normally takes place after we've made these ambitious plans, We've made so many good promises to the people, but is there a way in which we can channel and deliver them apart from just the conferences and the talks we do about? And I think also communication plays a critical role in that. And with media and people who are able to package this information in a very great way can be of help as well to both, because you find that some people, I think also they have that interest, but maybe it might not be your background inside. So how are you going to package this message out there, and how it's going to be get it to the targeted people? If you're targeting the government, or you're targeting these specific developmental partners and all that. Yeah, so those are my thoughts on the same. I think we are making progress, yes, but it also requires a lot of collective actions from both parties. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Mr. Martini, would you like to give just 1 minute?
Thank you, Gloria. I think Lamek has mentioned what I wanted to talk about, but just to scratch a little, thinking of the financial institutions and their leadership, and how these, the big countries influence the leadership of these financial institutions.
Wengine wakae chini. Wale warefu wakae chini eh. Singetwenda huko.